Welcome, deep divers. Get ready for a truly unique journey today as we plunge into a fascinating source that tackles a concept as intriguing as it is provocative. Overwhelming femininity.
That's right. Our source for this deep dive is a book titled Overwhelming Femininity, or supdc.pdf in the original Arabic. And its mission, as stated, is to guide you on a path to discover what makes a difference in your life, yourself, and your femininity.
Basically, how to become a successful woman according to its framework.
Exactly.
And our mission here is to pull out the key ideas, the most, well, surprising facts maybe, about what this source means by overwhelming femininity, how you might cultivate it, and its impact on relationships and success.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting, right from the dedication, the author sets a particular tone. It's dedicated to that great man behind every great woman.
Yeah, that definitely makes you pause.
It does. It immediately makes you ask, how does this view of femininity fit with or maybe push against more contemporary ideas? That's something we'll definitely explore.
Sure.
So let's unpack this.
Okay, so the book defines femininity as, and I'm quoting loosely here, the most beautiful of what God created. It paints a picture of a gentle being, embodying all these feminine qualities.
Right, but it's quick to say what it isn't, which I found interesting. It explicitly states femininity is not just makeup, elegant clothes, and a very seductive woman.
Precisely. It really draws a line there. The emphasis is heavily on the inside. It says inner femininity triumphs over external beauty.
So looks are just the first impression.
That's the idea. Your actions, your character, they hold a greater share in defining true femininity, according to this text. It's about what's coming from within.
Okay. And the book then sort of categorizes women into three types. Useful maybe as archetypes, though obviously people are complex.
Right. It gives us a framework. First, there's the rational woman.
Focused on work, mind, independence.
Yeah, but the book suggests she might neglect emotions, even appearance. Then there's the emotional woman.
Very emotional, maybe sees herself as a victim, ties her whole life to a man.
That's the description. Neglecting her own intellect, ambitions, goals. And then the third type.
The balanced woman. This is the ideal, right?
Exactly. The ideal presented in the book, balancing mind, love, beauty, emotions. This is really the core of its philosophy.
And it sees femininity as something innate.
Yes, an innate quality in every woman. Something you can nurture, or as the book puts it quite starkly, something you can kill with your actions. But the potential for perfection in femininity is there for everyone, it suggests.
And this connects back to that dedication, the idea of opposites. It presents femininity as the opposite of a man in, well, everything. Actions, speech, body language.
Mm. It suggests a man looks for qualities like silk in her softness, a rose in her tenderness, a child in her innocence. It's about that complementary dynamic.
Which really brings manners and character to the forefront.
Absolutely. The source says femininity is art, manners, ethics, and modesty. And it argues that without these, even beauty becomes repulsive. It's about that inner grace showing outwardly.
Okay, so given this focus on distinct roles, distinct natures, it inevitably brings up that big question. Equality. What's the book's take?
Right. It addresses this directly. The source describes what it sees as a distorted view of equality today, where in its view, women aim to be better than men rather than partners.
So how does it define equality then?
Well, the book's perspective is that equality exists in fundamentals, human rights, religious duties, reward and punishment, things like that.
Okay.
But it strongly asserts distinct roles. Men are framed as being for protection, safety, and provision,
And women.
for love, tenderness, and giving. The idea is that these distinct roles allow each to complete the other, like two parts of a whole.
Which leads to a core principle it lays out.
Yeah.
You have to first love your femininity.
Exactly. The first condition for being a woman from within is to love your femininity. It means appreciating your feminine roles and privileges rather than comparing yourself to men.
Because the roles are different, so comparison is pointless.
That's the logic presented. Each completes the other, so there's no basis for comparison.
Okay, let's shift into relationships then. The book argues women lose their femininity if they try to be too much like men. Competing, dominating.
Yes, that's a key point in its relationship advice. It's about leaning into your nature, not away from it.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The idea of female strength, it says it lies in gentle, beautiful weakness. What does that even mean?
Yeah, it needs unpacking. It's careful to say this isn't about a lack of confidence or humiliation.
Oh, okay.
The book seems to frame it more as allowing the man to fulfill his protective, providing role. By displaying a certain gentleness or weakness in specific situations, she reinforces his feeling of being needed, his masculinity.
Well, she remains strong underneath or when he's not there.
Precisely. It's presented as almost a strategic way to empower him, which, in the book's view, strengthens the relationship dynamic.
Yep.
She creates space for his nature.
So a strong personality in this context isn't about being forceful.
No, not at all. It's defined as being assertive, but with calmness, rationality, love, and respect. It's about achieving your aims while maintaining that feminine grace.
And what does the book say men are really looking for?
It suggests they desire to feel like a king in his home, protected, cherished by a gentle woman. It's about creating that environment where he feels valued, necessary.
Okay, so does it give practical tips for this?
Oh, definitely. Lots of specific advice. For instance, be romantic, surprise him, spontaneous affection.
Nice and simple. What else?
Avoid negativity. Practice the art of overlooking, it calls it. Be cheerful. Laugh genuinely, accept imperfections.
The art of overlooking, I like that. What about difficult emotions like tears?
Ah, yes. Tears as a tool. Use them sparingly, it advises. Too often, and they lose their impact. They're most powerful when unexpected, genuine.
Makes sense.
And words. Words as weapons, or maybe tools. A woman's tongue is potent, it says. Use affectionate names. My prince, my knight. Speak gently. Build him up.
Okay, more practical stuff.
Yes. On financial roles, it advises never taking on the man's role of spending or providing. It frames providing as core to his masculine nature.
Interesting. What about control?
Avoid control and dominance. This alienates him, the book argues, from both her femininity and his own sense of self.
And physical tasks, like carrying heavy things.
Don't do it, basically. Don't fix things around the house. It even gives the example of asking him to open a sealed bottle, even if you can do it yourself.
Seriously, just to let him feel useful.
That seems to be the idea. Let him fulfill that role. Also, consultation. Seek his wise opinion. Make him feel valued. Obedience is mentioned, but it's followed by discussion and agreement, so it sounds more collaborative within those defined roles.
And reinforcing that weakness.
Right. Reinforce feminine weakness. Use phrases like, I am tender, I am fragile, I am afraid of your anger.
Wow, okay.
To him, things like, you are my support, you protect me, I am under your wing. The core idea is, boost his masculinity as you nurture your femininity. It's presented as a cycle.
You know, this reminds me of that story the source tells about Aisha, the prophet's wife.
Yes.
The way they interacted, sharing water, him resting his head in her lap, even racing each other. It sounds like that playful, respectful dynamic the book is describing.
It does seem to illustrate that principle of valuing her tenderness and his masculinity, creating this loving partnership based on those complementary roles.
Okay, so that leads into emotional intelligence, right?
Exactly. The book pivots to that, stressing how crucial it is in all relationships, marriage, family, friends, even motherhood.
And it's about controlling your emotions.
Fundamentally, yes. Controlling your emotions, not letting them control you. Things like anxiety, stress, anger, sadness. The book says they can either destroy your life or elevate it. It's about mastery.
Does it give examples of how to manage them?
It does. Like countering anger with hugs, aggression with calm, feminine speech, meeting disappointment with a smile and the thought, perhaps it is good for you.
Start small, build up.
Yeah, practice in small situations first, then apply it to bigger challenges. Build that emotional muscle, so to speak.
And it claims emotional intelligence is more important than IQ.
In terms of navigating social interactions and relationships successfully, yes. It argues it's the practical day-to-day intelligence that really counts.
All right, let's go deeper now into the femininity and the soul. This is really about inner beauty trumping outer appearance again, isn't it?
Absolutely. The idea that true beauty springs from deep within. It suggests this inner quality lets a woman make others smile, even if she's feeling down herself. It's that inner radiance.
The book describes the ideal woman as a warm embrace everyone seeks out.
Yeah, like people instinctively feel they'll find a mother's tenderness there, regardless of age. It involves showing compassion, warmth to everyone, especially kids, and the elderly, that nurturing energy.
And it gets really specific with etiquette tips for showing this inner femininity.
It really does. Things like entering a room with a clear voice, a nice smile.
Not talking about yourself too much.
Right. Engaging others instead. Avoiding checking your watch or yawning. Making eye contact with everyone.
Limiting phone use seems like a big one today.
Definitely mentioned. Also, avoiding stubbornness in arguments or pointless debates. It quotes something like, I guarantee a house in paradise for one who gives up arguing, even if he is right.
Choosing words carefully.
Very important. Be polite, calm, soft-spoken. Avoid rude or mocking language. Adjust to your audience.
Don't interrupt, be a good listener.
Classic advice. Also, avoid sensitive topics at the dinner table. Don't speak a foreign language if someone present doesn't understand it.
And criticizing others.
Do it privately. It recommends the sandwich method: praise, critique, praise.
Yes, the sandwich.
And avoid gossip.
Absolutely. Express gratitude, apologize quickly for mistakes, avoid harsh language overall.
It all seems to boil down to your reactions being key.
Yes, your reactions are the secret to your femininity. And it really singles out anger.
Anger is the deadly enemy of femininity.
That's the phrase used. It's seen as completely destructive to that inner state. So how does it suggest managing anger?
Practical steps. Don't speak when angry. Count to 3.
Yeah.
Deep breaths. Remind yourself it's not worth it.
Imagine yourself screaming to stop the actual screaming. That's creative.
It is. It's about finding coping mechanisms. Patience, good faith, realizing anger harms you first, can even make you sick. And those external reactions leave a lasting impression.
Okay. What about voice and laughter? They get specific attention, too.
They do. The softness of the voice is one of the most important qualities of femininity, it states. Recommends practicing to lower and soften your voice. Avoid high or fake tones.
And laughter.
Gentle laughter is captivating, it suggests. Loud laughter makes a woman seem cheap. Advise covering your mouth lightly when laughing.
It even suggests natural remedies for the voice. Honey, ginger.
Yes, honey, ginger, lemon, anise. Simple things to help achieve that softer tone.
Then there's this idea of positive mystery. What's that about?
It's about not revealing everything about yourself to everyone. Not every detail, not every past issue.
Why not?
The book suggests not everyone deserves your secrets, or frankly has the energy for your problems. It's about discretion.
So be discerning. Keep some things back.
Exactly. Be formal when needed, careful with others, keep your secrets, be proud of yourself. And importantly, this doesn't contradict strength or firmness. It's about wise self-management, quiet confidence. Okay, moving towards becoming that successful woman the book envisions. It starts with a really foundational principle. Trust yourself.
Self-trust as the starting point for everything else.
Pretty much. It argues true beauty comes from within, and a woman who accepts herself, flaws and all, is seen as beautiful. Self-acceptance is key.
And others' trust in you comes from your trust in yourself.
That's the idea presented. It's reciprocal. If you project self-belief, others are more likely to reflect that back.
It even says to praise your own cooking.
Yes. Simple daily acts of self-worth. Doing that, it says, will make everyone appreciate you because you're signaling your own value.
And crucially, don't seek confidence from external applause.
Right. It has to come from within. The goal should be pleasing yourself and God, according to the text, not constantly chasing others' approval. That's a big mental shift.
Appearance still matters, but it's secondary.
It reaffirms maintaining appearance, yes, but always stresses that inner confidence is the foundation. Without it, the outside is just decoration.
How do you project that confidence? Any tips?
Communication tips, yeah. Direct eye contact. Speaking with confidence. Using a slightly raised but still gentle voice to convey power without being harsh.
And expressing your own opinions. Avoiding negative self-talk.
Definitely. Speak your mind and replace those negative labels, I'm not good enough, whatever, with positive affirmations. I am beautiful. I am successful. I am capable. Literally rewrite your inner script.
Self-love, accepting flaws. But what if something really bothers you?
Then change it, the book advises. If something about your appearance genuinely erodes your confidence, take action immediately rather than letting it fester. Take control where you can.
Which leads right into goals, doesn't it?
Exactly. The next step. Start today by defining your goal in life. It warns against living aimlessly. You need a direction.
But change takes time, right? It's not instant.
No, it's a journey. The book mentions the 21-day rule for habits, but stresses the important thing is for your intention to be sincere for change. Sincerity is the engine.
Okay, and what holds people back? The book talks about bonds or obstacles.
Yes, it identifies several common ones. First, the comfort zone. That feeling of, I'll start tomorrow.
Procrastination.
Basically. But the book argues this comfort can kill enjoyment and beauty because real growth happens outside it.
What else?
Rushing results. If you're changing for yourself, be patient. Results will come, it assures, quoting, God does not waste the reward of doers.
Letting the past hold you back.
That's the third one, past experiences. Don't let mistakes define you. See them as lessons, insights. Forgive yourself, forgive others. Burn past pages, as it says.
Playing the victim.
A big one. Playing the victim. The book is very firm. Don't do it. No one has the power to change you unless you allow it. Take responsibility. You paint your own life.
And trying to change others.
Forget it, essentially. Trying to change others is seen as wasted energy. Start with yourself, it advises, and you will be amazed by the results as the world shifts around you.
I like that metaphor. It uses the ship in a safe harbor.
Yeah, it's powerful. Ships are meant for the sea, not the dock. Staying safe, it warns, can rob you of your potential.
So push out to open waters. Don't wait for things to get desperate.
Exactly. Be proactive. Become your own source of motivation. Embrace change like a friend, not an enemy.
And this links to the give and take idea.
What you give, you will harvest. Give love, optimism, appreciation, respect, positivity to everyone, kids, spouse, and trust the process. Again, God does not waste the reward of the doers.
So it circles back to feminine intelligence.
Yes, it concludes the section by revisiting that, framing it as intelligence in dealing with people, understanding emotions, being in control of your emotions, not the other way around. That applies everywhere. It's the key to navigating life well, according to this source.
Wow, what a deep dive that was. We've really gone through the layers of this concept, overwhelming femininity, from redefining it away from just looks.
Right, to really focusing on self-confidence, that emotional intelligence piece, and how the book sees authentic relationships working based on those complementary roles.
Yeah, the core themes seem to be authenticity, definitely self-love is the starting point.
Personal responsibility for your own change, and that consistent message. Inner qualities matter far more than just the external, being the master of your own emotional world.
You know, the source leaves us with that rather blunt thought. There are no ugly women, only lazy women.
It is blunt, but it makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About taking action, about not just accepting things, but actively working towards your potential.
It prompts reflection on taking those proactive steps for self-improvement, whatever they might look like for you.
And that connects right back to feminine intelligence, being in command of your emotions. The book really presents this as the key to unlocking a positive impact across your whole life. It changes you, and through you, your world.
So maybe something for you to consider as you go about your day. How might you start to implement some of these ideas? What's one small step you could take towards nurturing that inner quality, that quiet strength, that emotional mastery the source talks about? Could be interesting